What is going on, everybody? This is Brandon.
This is Bryce, who is kind of sick this week.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, welcome everybody back to Weekly Wrap-Up. I don't remember what episode we're on because this is our weekly show. It's kind of like our flagship show of the channel. Make sure you guys in the chat let us know what you're reading this week. Comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. And make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new. That really does go a long way. This is a show where we read a lot of comic books and we recap, review them. We let you guys know what we thought about them. And today we are going to be joined by a special guest today. Excited, Bryce?
Oh, I'm very excited. Y'all aren't going to want to miss this one.
100%. He's been on the show before, but that's all I'm going to say because you guys will find out in about 15 to 30 minutes who that is. Just kind of recapping the week. What'd you do this week?
What did I do this week? Not a whole lot. A lot of work, a lot of reading comics. A buddy of mine went to head out to Oklahoma where he's being stationed, so I got to meet up with him one more time today before he headed out. So,
well, we thank him for his service, or that he's going to do. What did I do this week? I went to work. It was my first day back, or first week back-ish, because I had surgery on Monday. I went back to work Thursday and Friday, and it's exhausted me. Other than that, didn't really do much. Let's actually.
It's recovery, man. Gotta rest up for that. Gotta rest up during that, man.
Yeah, rest kind of sucked. Rest was like there, but and we got V in the chat. What's going on?
What's up, V?
Rest was there, but it wasn't there. I don't know. I'm never the person to sit down and really just do nothing.
Oh, see, I'm exactly that kind. That's what I did today. I was telling Brandon before the show, pretty much all I've done today is I've worked a little bit on an Omni and I've watched Attack on Titan, which is a great show. And that's pretty much all I've done today.
There you go. I know V really wants me to read. What does she want me to read? Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, she wants me to read that too.
What's up? What's going on, Fit? And what's going on Unruly? Make sure you guys let us know what you're reading this week. Also, we are being joined by a special guest later, so stick around, find out who that is. But if you really want to spoil the surprise for yourself and everyone, you can look at the description below.
Why would you tell them that?
Because his links are there. But anyway, let's start off with I just read this recently. But hey, we got John in here. Boom.
What's up,
See,
John
is he's off of Comic Talk Live this week just to be here. And we have Jen in the chat. How are you doing, Jen?
Jen, how you doing?
Yeah, make sure you guys catch
the better half of Indie Deep Dives.
Is it you? Is it you, John? I don't know this week. The better half of Indie Deep Dives. Yes. Yes, make sure you guys check out our crossover kind of breakdown. That was a lot of fun. Also, make sure you guys catch up on Casually Comics, which is live every Sunday. We never know the time because it's whenever Jen and Mars decide, and they never tell us until an hour before. So make sure you guys check that out. That link is in the description for you guys to go ahead and sub up to Jen if you have not already. Still reading God Country, also Fire Upon Deep, Stranger in a Strange Land, obviously not comics.
I've heard Stranger in a Strange Land is a great book, though. I kind of want to check it out.
Yeah, and
God Country
is a fantastic book. Let's talk about an Elseworlds story that came out this week. Grant Morrison, they are making their grand return to DC Comics after they said, I'm not going to write for you guys after their Green Lantern story that was not that great. But they're back and they're writing Superman with artist Mikhail Janin, coming off an incredible Batman run. I don't care what you guys say if you didn't like Tom King's run. I enjoyed it, so let me have it. This book is an Elseworlds story. So DC has been doing that because what we learned from Death Metal is there are infinite multiverses. So this is happening outside of the normal one, making it an Elseworlds story, kind of similar to Justice League Glassride if you guys want to play into that universe, in which Superman is almost like the Department of Defense. That's really what he is. And he's standing up to this guy named the Authority, who is really just a drunk, and protecting the United States. So it's kind of an older Superman.
Kind of like Kingdom Come almost.
Yeah, the president in here is Jack Kennedy. So not John Kennedy, it's Jack Kennedy, which I thought was pretty cool. The art is fantastic in here, and you just get a lot of it. Um, yes, and just like Jen says, it was fantastic. It was a great
Oh
read.
yeah,
There are a lot of like political jabs in here, and just like a lot of stuff that we don't usually think about every day, or just that we see on the news, and we just. But Grant does it in such a way where it's fun and refreshing. So if you guys definitely want to read another Superman story, look no further than this one. Especially if you love Grant Morrison and you weren't reading Green Lantern, this is like why I love Grant Morrison as well, 100%. Um, so they're writing a fantastic Superman story, and it's an Elseworld story. So at the same time, who cares? Just have fun with it.
exactly.
So that was honestly one of my favorite reads of the week. Mikhail Janin's art kind of combines what Ivan Reyes is doing in Batman Superman and what Bruno Redondo is doing in Nightwing. So it's kind of playing off both of those styles to me, and I think that's kind of what this Infinite Frontier style is what's being pushed.
Hey, honest, you say Bruno Redondo even as a comparison, and I'm intrigued.
It was fantastic. And the Authority kind of looked like that dude in the backstage of like the Incredibles movie who was really just like calling the shots for Syndrome until he like took over the whole thing. That's exactly like he reminded me of. So I thought that was fun. Also, at
I
my
can go
job,
back and rewatch The Incredibles because I don't remember Syndrome having a guy in the chair.
he kind of did. He kind of had like a dude in the background a little bit. It was like at first he was like barely teased, but also like that little dude. There's someone at my work today who came in, looked just like that little dude from The Office, the little short dude. I was like, all up in Mr. Incredible's face, like in his like regular day job,
Short dude from The Office.
like from The Office scenes.
Oh, from The Office and from The Office.
Yeah, not like
The
The Office,
Incredibles.
like not like from the show.
I'm sitting here thinking like, who's the little dude in The Office?
But no, I saw this guy like just like him. I was like creeped out because he sounded like him too. I was like,
dude, Pixar is just weird with that sort of thing. There was a guy that used to go to my church that looked just like Carl from Up. Station. No joke. Looked just like Carl from Up.
That's awesome. Did he sound like him too? We got Roscoe, handsome homie Roscoe. What's going on?
I didn't talk to him a whole lot. He actually passed away just recently, and he was always kind of in and out. Just he was there when service started and was gone when it ended.
Well, now you make me feel bad for laughing, so thanks for making me feel like an a-hole. Was it John Walker?
Was it
the older version of John Walker? But Bryce, what did you read this week?
Listen, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here for a sec. John Walker inherently was not a bad person. He just did some bad stuff.
And he's going to do even worse stuff in the future MCU movies.
Probably, yes. But inherently, I believe that he had good intentions.
There is someone who I would love to see writing a John Walker story. I'm gonna ask him about it when he comes on the stream today.
Interesting. Okay. So
aggressively, what's going on?
What's up, aggressively? What's up, Marshall?
What's up, Marshall?
So my first book this week is also a Grant Morrison book, and it's the last issue, and I'm just going to kind of talk about this along with the series as a whole. Yeah, you love to hate John Walker when he does the bad stuff, but at the same time,
you got to reciprocate.
That show gave him such great character moments to make me feel bad for him at times, too.
We're only going to get more. We're only going to get more John Walker. That's it.
Not as many great character moments as, say, Zemo. I think that show did wonders for Zemo. Probably even more than Sam or Bucky.
Nah. I think Sam had his pretty spotlight at the end.
Well, Sam had his spotlight, but I'm saying I think they showed Zemo's arc a little better and a little...
Maybe. It was...
They were subtly pushing Zemo's arc.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I'm talking about Proctor Valley Road from Boom Studios. Issue 5, end of a 5-issue limited series. Written by Grant Morrison and Alex Child. Art by Naomi Franquiz. And colors by the ever-so-talented Tamara Bondillon.
Yes.
So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about this series as a whole. Basically, it's these 4 girls right here, kind of like Paper Girls mixed with Stranger Things. It's in the 70s. They want to go to a Janis Joplin concert, and in order to afford it, they decide to have like these spook tours on Proctor Valley Road, and they didn't know what they were getting into, and it ended up just completely going off the rails from there. So I'm just going to go ahead and say this is actually my introduction to Grant Morrison.
Well, now you have to go back and read their Justice League.
Now I got to go back and read JLA. I got to read Animal Man. I got to read Doom Patrol. What else? Batman.
Their Batman is fantastic.
New X-Men.
New X-Men, something I'm diving into, but Grant Morrison is one of the better minds of the modern world.
And they're one of the Hickman that in here. Like honestly, this was a cool book to start reading Grant Morrison on, just because you get some of his sort of wild tendencies, especially with the villain, who is this character named the Landlady. Overall, I thought it was a decent book. I thought it was pretty good. Definitely something to get me into his writing, but not to where it's all downhill from here. And I mean, I liked it. There were some parts of the end that I thought were a little bit rushed. I thought the final confrontation was rushed. I had somebody else recommend Animal Man to me this week. My shop has the 2 deluxe editions, so I might have to grab them at some point.
There you go. Or you can get Grant Morrison's Omnibus. I think that's out. Or no, that's the Jeff Lemire. Their Omnibus isn't out, but Lemire's is.
Well, the Animal Man one, I think, by Grant Morrison's out of print. Doom Patrol isn't.
No, Doom Patrol you can get easy because no one picked it up.
But, yeah, I can definitely see it's a great solicitation for a series. Yeah, this has Netflix written all over it.
Yeah, or I would even say Amazon Prime or Hulu, I think, might pick it up. I don't think Netflix is going to dive into anything boom until they're going to start with Berserker. Everyone knows. They're going to start with Berserker.
They're going to start with Berserker. You can maybe have something to Killing the Children in there once in future. But, yeah, no, I enjoyed this book. Definitely.
Oh, no way. If Grant Morrison did an interview there, I will definitely check that out. That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Would love to hear Grant Morrison talk all about their Batman run.
But yeah, Proctor Valley Road, trade's probably going to be coming out pretty soon. Definitely pick it up. It's an easy read, not a whole lot, nothing too bombastic, but bombastic enough that it still feels like Grant Morrison, I would think, from what I've heard.
Right.
And yeah, just a couple of issues with the ending, but other than that, I had a lot of fun with it.
Right. And I haven't read it yet. I'm still reading this series. I usually don't buy indies, but for Grant, I made an exception. But I'm definitely going to be diving into that probably after the show today, probably when I listen to Comic Talk Weekly, which is actually coming up in an hour or for 45 minutes.
Nice.
So you guys get to see Jen over there as well. Also a great panel, of folks. I always love watching their stuff.
Yeah. What else did you read this week?
What else did I read? I read Supergirl #2 by Tom King and Belkis Evely. So this was very narrative heavy, which is so unlike Tom King to write in a bunch of words, which is why it threw me off for a little bit. But it reads like a novel. It was very much like a narrative, and we all know this is in the perspective of Ruth and how she's kind of viewing Supergirl. Okay, so of course, like they're traveling through the galaxy and they make a few stops and they stop at a bar. Now that Supergirl is legal, she can drink, which I thought that was definitely like a great little head nod to the first issue. And there's like this alien who's like, "Oh, you know Superman? He put 2 of my brothers in the Phantom Zone. Are you related to Superman? Because I might have to kill you." And she's like, "I don't know. We'll find out." And she beats the shit out of the guy. Or she beats the shit out of the guy.
I don't know. That's always the best answer. Is I don't know.
Right, is I don't know. They continue to kind of like travel together to go fight the guy or kill the guy who killed Ruth's parents. And there's definitely like a play on how they've dealt with death. That's definitely like a lingering kind of subject in here, is how, because they're dealing with death in 2 different words. In Ruth's world, it's very much like that Conan vibes. If you die, you kill the person who killed whoever killed your folks, right? You avenge them. And
my name is Inigo Montoya.
Right.
You killed my father, prepare to die. We know the spiel.
Right, we know the spiel already. And then Supergirl's like, yeah, but that's not me. That's never what I stood for. So that the two kind of visions are kind of clashing, but she's also trying to mentor Ruth and how to like be more modern in society. We see a galaxy dragon, that's what I call it, and Supergirl takes a pill in Ibiza, turns into a phoenix and kills it, which is kind of cool. The art is fantastic. Honestly, guys, the art is a huge like selling point for this book. Also, like Tom King's description is fantastic as well, and how he's able to like create Ruth and create her perspective, I think, is very strong. Okay, so Ruth is definitely an interesting character, and how little she knows, but how much she perceives, is a huge strength to this book. Okay. Also, when you have a panel like this, it looks great.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Can Marvel sue for that though?
No, I wish. That would be fantastic. But this book is definitely like a fantastic book, and they're just like, it's almost like a witch hunt, but it's kind of like tutoring, mentoring through the eyes of the person who's getting tutored. All right, so that's Supergirl number 2. Bryce, what did you read this week? What else did you read?
Well, book I've been reading ever since it came out. One that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Got Alien number 5 out this week.
But speaking of Alien, we're actually joined by a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, he's backstage. Let's bring him in. This is Philip Kennedy Johnson making his return to the show. What's going on, man?
What's up, guys? Good to see you.
Oh, man. Hey, Philip. How you doing? Let me check my hair real quick.
Nice.
No. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Good to meet you, Bryce. How's everything?
Good to meet you, man. Little sick, but other than that, pretty good.
Right on. I'm sorry, not feeling well.
Nah, that's all right.
Still made the show. How are you doing, man?
Good, man. Busy. I've been I'm on the road. I'm in like a hotel lobby right now. But yeah, I'm good. I'm on my way back from. I just did a big signing at All Yeah Comics in Muncie, Indiana for Christy Blanche and company out there. Met some really great fans and crew, and it was super awesome. So
awesome.
Traveling.
Awesome.
That's great, man. You know, get to see everybody. Hopefully, like everyone was wearing masks, everyone was safe, right?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, they completely handled it like pros. Everyone did a great job. After the live signing, we did a thing on a site called Whatnot I'd never seen before. It's like an app where it's like live eBay basically, which I'd never used. But so we had like a live auction for some of the books I had brought with me and some of the ones they had there in the store, and it went super great. I met some really cool people there. So yeah, it was good.
There you go, man. And you've been really, really busy. You had a couple books come out this week, and even the previous week, you had the Superman Annual. If you want to talk about that a little bit for us.
Yeah, man. So yeah, the Action Annual was a huge pleasure. It back in January and February, we were in the Future State books, and I did Future State House of L, and there was a huge response to those characters. It was all new characters, all Superman's descendants from 1,000 years in the future, and it was very well received, and they wanted to do more. And so I was talking to my editor at the time, Jamie Rich, who was like, is there any way we could bring these characters back in some way? And I was like, dude, let's bring them back in the annual, and we'll figure out a way. Jamie really wanted me to find a way to time in with current continuity, things happening now in the book, which I thought sounded awesome. So we found a way to do that. Right. So yeah, people who've been wanting to see more of those characters got a little more, and kind of teased about how there might be more yet in the future, and tied it into the current events of Action Comics. It was super fun. Got to work with Scott Godlewski again, who co-created those characters, and also with, Sia Ohm, who is also a hugely talented artist. So I wanted to work with. Right. She did the Black Racer backup in another book that I did, and so she came on for that, and we're super happy with it. And then on to Alien 5 that just hit this week. And,
right.
Oh yeah,
that was bonkers, man. That was crazy. I even picked up. I had to pick up the 1 in 25 variant. I could pull it out real quick. But that book wrapped up fantastic. That arc. If you wanted to kind of talk about where we've been, if you wanted to repitch Alien to everyone who was not on board, what would your pitch be to go buy this book?
This is a comic series that I really want to feel like it belongs in the film Alien franchise canon. You know what I'm saying? So like the Dark Horse books are awesome, and I've loved them since they first started coming out. and they're really great. I do feel like they became their own thing after a while separate from the movies, in my opinion. Like they don't feel like the movies did. They just got super creative and took some huge swings I really admire. But after a while, the canon kind of grew more, like the stuff with the royal jelly and some of the characters that were introduced, and developments like there's like an android xenomorph at one point that spoke English, and like just some things that that were super cool, but also very unlike the films until they felt like parallel universes kind of.
Right.
And since there was this New Beginning, and now Marvel and 20th Century are both owned by the same company now, it's all like together in one house. I thought it was this really cool opportunity to really marry all that up, and make it feel like one continual story now. So we wanted to tell a story that felt like it belongs on the shelf next to the films. So this one takes place after Alien, after the first two movies, technically after the third movie too, but it does not really. I mean, Alien 3 all happened on another world, and it doesn't really impact the events of this story. So it's for all intents and purposes, it takes place after 1 and 2. And I wanted it to feel very much like those movies. I wanted it to be like, how should I say it? I was kind of trying to dance the line between the claustrophobic, like true horror story of the first one and just the epic visuals and emotional impact and action stuff from the second one, So I wanted that, like that epic visual of the Space Marine versus the Xenomorph,
Right.
You got to have that. That's a huge, important part of what Aliens is now. But I also wanted that feeling of like being locked in a ship with this thing and you can't get out, like that claustrophobia that first one brought. And the fact then the way that first movie just blows your mind every 5 minutes for a while. It's just like every reveal that it happens for a while. It's just like, holy shit. Like if you can put yourself in 1979 and having never seen it, like it's impossible. It's such a huge part of our pop culture, identity now that it's impossible to imagine not knowing what a xenomorph is or not knowing the chest burster thing is coming. But imagine seeing it for the first time and how it was just this mind-blowing thing.
Yeah, I know. I was eating a Big Mac. I was eating a Big Mac during it, and I couldn't finish it.
And I told you to watch that movie on an empty stomach.
You know what? I thought you were lying. I thought you were full of it.
Yeah, dinner scene's pretty sweet. It's I can't even remember what it's like not knowing what was coming in that movie now, but it's such a man. There's everything that happens for a while, like seeing the derelict and seeing the space jockey and seeing the face hugger and the dinner scene and seeing it full grown. Like every few minutes, it's like you're saying like holy shit over and over again. Like you're just being in a car crash over and over and over. And having to capture that now for an audience who already knows what's coming, it's a huge challenge, but it's one that I really wanted, So we're trying to find new ways to give people that same emotional, visceral reaction,
right?
And find new ways to gross them out or to just like horrify them, and that puts a new spin on it enough that you still get that reaction,
right?
But it still seems true to the original vision and not jump the shark by trying to make it so crazy and out,
Right.
I will say I definitely had that reaction when I first saw the Alpha.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
hear that.
That's another reason to pick up the book. The Alpha looks badass. You can kind of see it featured on the cover. Or if you were a big fan of Bishop making his kind of return. Do you want to talk about the inclusion of Bishop? After the second Aliens movie, he kind of took a little bit of a deep dive.
He did. I love that. I love that character, and he's one of my favorite characters in that movie in the 1986 James Cameron film. And they told me I could bring back characters for this story, and I really wanted to. They did tell me like it would be better if you didn't bring back Michael Bihn's character if you don't have to, because he's kind of doesn't like his likeness being used. Like he's kind of a pain in the ass about that. Yeah. So I was like, that's interesting. I didn't know that, but I mean, I don't know. I didn't want to bring back one of the main characters because it would. I don't know. I don't want to like touch continuity in the films.
Kind of like divert that attention from the story to this character's here almost.
Yeah. So Bishop was a really clean way to bring somebody back that I love. I love that Bishop character. I love that Ripley is so set to hate him, and then he just proves himself over and over until she just like really admires and respects him. I love that. So I wanted to see that again. Love having Bishop back. The Alpha thing was something that it was stuck in my mind almost from the very beginning, because I wanted this series, this first arc, to be extremely familiar to people who love Alien. I don't want to show them a version of Alien that's totally unlike what they've known before. So they don't pick it up and be like, oh man, this wasn't what I wanted at all. Like I wanted people who know what they love the Alien. I want that to be there in the story. So I try to start from a place that was pretty familiar. Kind of in the same way that Force Awakens does,
for sure.
That movie is, almost a remake of Episode 4. It
Right.
might be maybe a little too close to it, but but it was very, very familiar to Star Wars fans for sure. I wanted this to kind of be like that. Not quite as close as Force Awakens was, but to feel very much like those first two movies did.
Right.
And the Alpha is kind of my way of giving fans a new Alien that, like, by the time it's being introduced, you've already seen the Xenomorph a couple of times, and you see, the horror that is the H.R. Giger design. And then we level it up just a bit, and we see like this apex predator version of that. It's got the horns, it's got the hooves, and it kind of has this satanic look to it. It's like a satanic version of a Xenomorph, kind of just bigger and more badass, and just that half step forward that leads us into the next arc in which we're going to continue to take the ball and run with it.
There you go. And if you can talk about that next arc for us, kind of what we're looking forward on the horizon.
Yeah, totally. So the next issue 6, is the last issue of the first arc. That's when this story, this movie, quote unquote, concludes, and then it's going to lead us right into the next one. And this next arc is one that this is the one that I really, really wanted to tell, but felt too unfamiliar from what people love about Alien, because the setting's different, the character is different. There's just things about it that just felt a little too big of a swing for the first arc, because I wanted to make sure that my fellow Alien hardcore fans knew how much I love this shit, and how like I am a true Alien fan, and make sure that we're all on the same page, and then use that to kind of take that next step forward into the second arc, which is called Sanctuary. And this is the one that I've been dying to tell. That's a character that I'm super happy with, a setting that we've never seen before. You can see from the cover, if you've seen the cover tease for number 7,
I have.
It's an alien like coming out of the cornfield.
I actually haven't. Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it almost
that's going to give me some serious Signs vibes right there.
Yeah.
So picture like
cool.
Bellatrix Lestrange when she was attacking the Weasley's house,
right,
but with an alien.
That's a cool thought. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah,
that's what I went to as a Harry Potter fan.
I haven't seen the cover tease yet. I might have to go look after this. I usually don't like looking at the covers a whole lot.
Okay, well then, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a super cool setting, and it really sets it up nice. There's also a variant cover for that issue, in which you see aliens like around like a barn, like an old fashioned, like just American barn. And that's a setting we've never seen before, and I wanted to feel like this kind of old world Appalachian kind of setting. And it's about a church that's been persecuted on Earth called the Spinners, and the Spinners it's like this old world kind of culture that the future of this country does not smile upon, and they've kind of had a hard go. And by the time we enter the story, they've been given a gig to like they man a terraforming operation in space. And the deal is that if they bring this terraforming colony to fruition, then this place gets annexed in their name. It's like becomes their Utah, if they were the Mormons. It's so it's theirs, and everything is set to go, and it's like their sanctuary. It's their place that they can call their own, not worried about being persecuted by others. And then something terrible happens, and it's super exciting, and it deals with. There's some political intrigue, like the whole, some cultural stuff between the United Americas and Weyland-Yutani, between the Spinners and the rest of us. There's a character who has a degenerative disease, who because she is a Spinner, cannot get the super advanced medical care that she would need to get better. And she's kind of has no choice but kind of watch her body kind of fall apart and is super scared of being trapped inside her own body. And she has to protect her flock from the perfect organism, from the ultimate predator. So I'm really excited about this character, about this next story. I'm very proud of the next issue too. I want people to see what happens with Gabriel Cruz and his son, and with Bishop as well.
Where you left off with that was. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone because it just hit the shelves. But something happens with them.
it definitely left me with enough questions and enough intrigue to already have me like, man, why can't issue 6 come out next week? Like,
thanks, dude. Yeah, there's a reveal coming in like the first 25% of the next issue. I was like, man, I wish I could just give this much to the fans right now, because I kind of hate the it's not like a big. I shouldn't say much more because people haven't read it yet. But there's the cliffhanger that we have is not maybe the biggest spoiler ever. You just kind of see it coming in earlier issues, but not for the reason that you think. I really want you to see what's coming. So I'm really stoked how it ends.
Right. And what I love the most about this book is you drop these little footnotes that we should expect what's coming. Like, you literally tell us right then and there, this is what's coming. But then when you get the cliffhanger, I'm like, I feel stupid because I should have known this all along. And it's just
subtle enough. Yeah, it's subtle enough that we kind of doubt it throughout. And then when it happens, we're still shocked. At least I anyway. And it sounds like Brandon is too.
I feel like it's a Hickman book.
There's still one shot coming about why she's done it.
Why she's done it. Rich.
So you'll dig it, man. I'm stoked. I really like the conclusion of that arc.
That's going to be awesome. I honestly cannot wait. And I'm not just speaking out of good here, but we've talked. I'm excited for it. I'm excited. And this is really my first time diving into Alien because I haven't really dove into the Dark Horse stuff. I've watched the movies. This is like my first year watching the movies. So,
cool, man, that's so exciting, dude. I kind of want to I want friends who haven't seen it and just sit there and watch them while they're watching it.
We can still make that happen because I still haven't seen the third one yet. So
not to be all creepy or nothing. Yeah, no,
I haven't seen the third one either, but I've heard, which I'm a huge David Fincher fan, so I'm almost hesitant to watch Alien 3.
I love it, dude. I think it's great. I mean, a lot of people. It was a famously troubled production. There were a lot of story things that they got back and forth, and there are things that people didn't like. And there's one big plot point that I totally get why people are pissed about it. It's annoying about it, but as far as Ripley's story in it, I don't know, man. I think it's great. I really do. I do recommend you skip Alien Resurrection. I think that one's not good, but Alien 3 is great, and I think it's a really excellent cap to that trilogy, to that first trilogy. And I like the prequels too, Prometheus and Covenant.
I've heard good things about those. Yeah.
People, there's people who are annoyed about everything. The first two movies, Alien and Aliens, are above reproach.
Oh yeah.
Anyone who doesn't like those just gets their ass kicked.
Oh, but it's like Star Wars fans, It's you're huge into the fandom. You're huge into everything about it, but you rag on it day in and day out.
It's supposed to be perfect.
And if it's not perfect.
I love Star Wars, but Rise of Skywalker is one of my least favorite movies of all time. I did not like it.
Hey, would you rather have 3 hours of Senate scenes for the prequels?
If it's Ian McDermott, yes.
Nice. Yeah, dude's good.
But what else do you have in the works? You're doing a lot more stuff over at Marvel that people should know about.
Yeah. Extreme Carnage is out. Extreme Carnage Alpha, rather, is out. And now, let's see.
Scream and Phage is out.
Phage just hit, right? Yeah, I think I saw Phage in the shelves the other day. So, Scream and Phage are out by my excellent collaborators, Clay McLeod Chapman and Steve Orlando. And, those are out. And very proud of those, too. I had a very minimal involvement in those. So, there's a kind of a writer's room on Extreme Carnage. So, they had me write the first and last issues, what they're called the Alpha and the Omega issues. And then Scream and Lasher are Clay McLeod Chapman. Phage and Toxin are Steve Orlando. And Riot and Agony are Alyssa Wong. And they're all superstars. It's been really fun. And we do talk and make sure we're collaborating and making sure stuff lines up from issue to issue. Because even though they're all numbered, number one, Scream number one, Lasher number one, blah, 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 it all it's really one continuous story as well. So each one does focus on the character that's in the title,
Right.
but it is a series. So if you're looking for the actual, unless you're just like a super hardcore fan of one thing that you got to read, I'd recommend reading them all because it does tie together one big 8-issue arc.
Right. I'm reading. I have them all.
What's
And
that?
then I said I have them all. And then if you guys want to read more of Flash Thompson's return from Venom 200 and the King in Black, last issue or whatever he came back in, can't keep track of that. But definitely check this out. And then you also have Superman coming out next issue. Hits the shelves next week.
Yeah, man. Action Comics.
There you go. And we can
I
talk
want
about
to give Tom Taylor a shout out too. Tom Taylor's first issue of Superman, Son of Kal-El, #1 comes out.
Yes.
I want to be the 27th, I believe.
Yes.
But before that,
week,
but
right?
then next week is Action Comics 1033, and War World Rising continues, and it's gonna be rad. There's some cool stuff coming up with Atlanta. Atlantis plays a very central part to everything that's going on with War World and Superman. So I'm pretty stoked.
There you go.
Yeah, I was really interested after 1032, I think it was, ended, where you kind of got Aquaman and Steve Trevor standing at odds with each other, and Superman's just kind of going to have to mediate,
right?
Kind of mediate that whole situation. I'm like, ooh, how's this going to play out?
Yeah, it's going to heat up. There's I wanted to see some cracks in the armor of the Justice League. I want to see, things get a little complicated for Superman. Like when 1030 started, everything was going pretty good overall. And when those War World ships came into our atmosphere, everything got real screwed up. And that's gonna in all kinds of ways. So we'll learn more about Thal La, the Felosian refugee. And I don't want to spoil too much, but it's pretty cool.
I'm just happy to see Aquaman in a book finally.
I know. Yeah, I'm stoked about the upcoming the team up book he's got coming up with Green Arrow.
Yeah, that looks
cool.
That's gonna be interesting.
That's cool. And I'm like, still, where's Hal Jordan in all of this?
I know. Yeah, you don't usually think about characters like Aquaman and Green Arrow hanging out. So I'm really kind of excited about that matchup.
Right. I mean, yeah, definitely. You would think more like Green Arrow, Green Lantern because of Danny O'Neill and Neil Adams.
Yeah, right.
I'm excited to see how that pairs. I guess that's the right word. I don't even know, but
if you're a fan of younger heroes too, you got the Jackson Hyde Aquaman book coming out, The Becoming.
Yes, good call, Bryce. Which I think it's the same writer who did him in Future State, Brandon Thomas. Right, same guy who did Excellence.
I'm not sure, but if it is, I really enjoyed Excellence, so I'm excited about that.
Brandon Thomas is a great writer, and
totally.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for that as well. DC's been doing a great job with a handful of their titles that I've been reading. The ones that I don't think they're doing a good job of reading.
Yeah, man. DC's crushing it. I'm really, really proud to be there, and everyone's doing some really great work right now.
Right. It's great. It's great to see you really progressing, seeing you kind of dip your toes into everything, and then of course, it pays off when you have a beautiful hardcover coming out early next month.
Yes, I got my comps for that, and it looks insane. Good call.
Is it for? I'm drawing a blank. Last God.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like 1.25 inches thick, beautiful format. It looks unbelievable. It's just sex and paper.
I am so stoked to get my copy because I read it digitally. I don't have that in-hand experience. It started. I don't think I was reading it from Jump, but I started reading it digitally. I have it all on my iPad, but I'm excited to pick it up from the Jump and kind of read it all in my hand finally.
Thanks, man. I can't wait to see everyone else how this. I've got a few copies. I gave a few away, but I'm so stoked to have a couple of these. Whenever all my stuff that comes in, I stack a couple of copies away for my kid.
There you go.
Having them there. I'm like, God, this looks so cool. I mean, it's with Ricardo's art in it, and everyone else that was involved too. There's an issue in there with Steve Beach on art, and there's these amazing covers by Kai Carpenter. There's maps by Jared Blando. There's a handful of super talented colorists that worked on that book. God, I mean, some of the stuff, the source book, the D&D source book that we put out with it, where you can build your own campaigns with it, has art by Raleigh Rossmo in there, along with some of the other artists I've mentioned.
Right, and then Danny did an issue in there, here or there, right?
Who did? Sorry,
Danny from Coffin Man, Dan Watters.
Dan Waters, yes, writer, yes, yeah. He wrote an issue called "Songs of Lost Children,"
yes,
and that was drawn by Steve Beach. and color by Dave Stewart. God, just
a lot of talent.
All-star cast in that book, man. And all that back matter that I wrote for it's all in there. You could, it feels like a real place. I could not be happier with it.
Man, you're gonna make me jump on here and pre-order this right after this show, aren't you?
Thanks, dude.
You're acting like I didn't already pre-order it.
I missed out on it when it was coming out. I was seeing it come out, but I wasn't familiar with your work yet, and I was just a little hesitant. I was still kind of new.
No, until I get it. It surprised people. I mean, it's an epic fantasy horror book from DC Comics, and now we're seeing. I mean, by now we've seen all the Hill House books come out, and we've seen some other, DC Black Label, horror pieces come out. But at the time,
Night's House on the Lake, like
that book is fantastic.
Yeah, totally, it's great. So, but at the time, like all anyone had seen from DC Black Label was like, dark or different versions of
Batman.
Batman and the Joker,
yeah, Batman, Joker, like the Harley stuff, and so I mean, and that's all super rad. But it was cool that people were seeing different things come out. Like, whoa, this is an epic fantasy. Like last time they'd done an epic fantasy book was like Warlord or something. Like it was a good long while ago.
Right. So, it almost like it belonged in DC Vertigo. You remember those days?
I'll hand it to DC and their Black Label. It definitely feels like they're getting back to the Vertigo roots in a sense, almost.
Yeah.
Tynan wants you to have those like Vertigo vibes, or so does like Rom V. I guarantee you, those two are like, we're bringing it back. We don't.
Yeah, I want my name on that list too. I'm a huge Vertigo guy.
You too.
Last God, I want it to feel like a Vertigo book, And I mean, I want a lot of my Big Two stuff. I want to feel like, have that dark edge to it. I felt like there was a lot of stuff like that Scott Snyder was putting out when he was still doing all this Batman stuff.
Right.
Some of that stuff felt very Vertigo-y,
Right. And we were kind of talking about this earlier. There's a character that I personally would love to see you write when he gets another series is John Walker. You were to pitch a John Walker story. What would you have him do just off the top of your head?
Oh man, I don't know, dude. I have to think about it.
That'd be really exciting, I have to say.
Thanks. I mean, I wouldn't say no for sure.
Yeah.
There's a story that I would love to do for DC Black Label, and that is, I want to do it in the Scarface book.
That'd be dope.
And make it super like just art house and like somebody like Jock on the art or something.
Oh my gosh!
And I'd call it. It would be called Dummy.
Or Bill Sienkiewicz would be cool.
And I mean,
Or Simmons, Martin Simmons from Department of Truth would be rad.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I want it to be like just super. Oh man, I would just dive into the ventriloquist crazy, and show him like this. I just see him as this character who just doesn't know, who does not differentiate between the dolls he's making and people, and he's like tormenting these people that he's made and doesn't like sees himself as a serial killer kind of, but he doesn't, or he's at least an abuser, and doesn't understand that he's not hurting real people until at some point he kind of makes that jump and he is like, I don't know. I have this whole arc for him that is super duper dark, and I can't wait to do it someday. John's Comics with Kids. Thanks, dude.
That's actually who got me onto The Last God. So a big shout out to him. We kind of got over that as well. But Philip, it was great having you on the show.
Dude, thanks so much for having me, dude.
Philip, it was great meeting you, man. Can't wait for what you got coming up.
You too, man. Let's do this again. Always good to see you guys.
Absolutely.
100%, man. Stay safe out there and return to Maryland soon, man.
Yeah, brother. Take care of yourself.
All right, take care.
Stop in West Virginia while you're at it.
I'm going through there. Probably hit a cave on the way home.
Oh shoot! Nice.
Maybe it's the Hillbilly Comics cave. You never know.
Oh man.
All right, Philip. Have a good one, brother.
All right, take care, man.
Well, that was Philip.
Surprise, guys.
Surprise. I said he would be on the show for like 15 minutes.
Ended up being more like 30. It was a great conversation, though. Great conversation.
Wow. If you guys want to tell
you guys aren't convinced to read Alien by now, I don't know what more we can do for you.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you want to tell your friends that you found out what the next arc of Aliens was or what Philip has coming out next, this is the place to find it,
Get the edge up on your LCS owner.
Exactly. What's coming out before. Like, we were talking solicitations all the way in October, guys. That's crazy. Man. big shout out to Philip for being here. Kind of making all of our nights, I would say. But let's dive into the books. That was kind of our review of Alien #5. Cool book, big cliffhanger. Read it
for sure, 100%. And if you're not reading it, buy the trade. Be a little more cost effective. But then go back and buy as many covers of every single issue as possible because you will want to.
Right. And we do have a few more books to talk about tonight. So if you guys do want to stick around for that, great.
What you got next?
Oh, what do I have next? I thought you were going to talk about a book, but I'll go ahead.
Either one's fine. Either one's fine.
The X books were a little bit of a snooze for me this week. I was not impressed with either of them, which is kind of depressing for me because I love Vita Ayala. It was Marauders and New Mutants, and I just didn't like what happened in either of them. I just didn't care. There is nothing for me to care about. Like, kind of post-Gala, I was expecting more from Marauders especially, which was more of a letdown on my side of things. So I'm not going to really dive into it. Because I don't want to talk bad about something I've held in like such high praise. I just want to say this week was a miss for X-Men.
I've heard Marauders has kind of taken a dive ever since Jerry Dugan started X-Men, and that's kind of taken his attention elsewhere.
I guess. I mean, Cable's fun, or was, but I think he wrote Cable like kind of weeks ahead of everything else. I think that was like kind of his early project. So I'm not going to talk about it. Let's talk about Moon Knight. Let's talk about Moon Knight.
Oh, Moon Knight.
Out this week by Jen McKay, art by someone Cappuccino or Cappuccino.
I think it was...
Who is the artist? I've never heard of this artist before.
He's only been on a few issues. I think
Alessandro Cappuccino.
Alessandro Cappuccino, yeah.
A household name, and the colors is by Rachel Rosenberg, who's with a phenomenal
fantastic Steve McNiven A cover. I mean, Marvel, can you have Steve McNiven do like every cover?
No, because then they'd all look like crap because Steve McNiven would be rushed.
Okay, fair. Can you have him do at least like just I don't know. Can you have him do some Daredevil covers? If Marco Cicchetto's not going to, can you give this Steve McNiven?
Yeah, go for it. Shoot them a letter, and I'm sure they'll respond. Or you know what? Email Chip Zdarsky. I think he'll.
Chip Zdarsky like, if Cicchetto is out, get McNiven on your.
He'll probably say he's probably said sorry. I died in crossover, but
only one of them died.
But you don't know which one that is.
I've read the issue.
Okay, but not a lot of people did. But anyway, Moon Knight. Okay, I say it was like. Okay, I say I look sound like a Dr. Seuss book, but it was okay for me. It wasn't Jen McKay's best work. I felt like it was very art dependent, very art carried in the grit that it was trying to do. I think it did a good job of restating Moon Knight's origin and kind of what he was up to in the Avengers run with the Age of Khonshu bullshit we all want to move past and never read again. But I enjoyed it. It was just it just didn't blow me away. It was a solid first issue. You just see Moon Knight beat a lot of people up and while restating his origin. And then you kind of get like some behind the scenes conspiracy with the whole Khonshu religion. So it's definitely playing a lot on his origin and how he was brought back and kind of the flip side of that. So if you like that, this book is for you. You also get to see Moon Knight kick some ass.
See, okay. I didn't think it was a perfect issue, but I thought it was a perfect first issue, if that makes sense. I think it sets up really well what's going to be going on. I think we will get a little bit of a dive into Mark Spector's dissociative identity disorder. We see a good bit of that here, actually, in like flashes. I thought the art was extremely dynamic. I loved it. And I thought the tone of the story and kind of the whole Khonshu controversy coming from someone who doesn't read Avengers, at least not this current run anyway, I thought it was really interesting. And I thought it pretty much did everything you would want out of a first issue to intrigue you for the rest of the series. So as an issue overall, if I were to rate it, I'd probably give it a 3.5, but as a first issue, I'd give it a 4.5 to a 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge. It was the first issue, and it definitely grabbed me, but I don't know. It just didn't give me that big enjoyment or really, I don't know. It just felt very like, cool, great. This is what we're going to be dealing with. It was a good introduction, like you said, but I'm excited because Jed MacKay is definitely like a rising writer in Marvel, so I'm excited. But this issue to me was It was very cool, great, moving on.
Well, the whole vampire thing I thought was really interesting too, because we know, okay, this book came out to get people excited for the show. We know this.
Yes, and it didn't do that for me.
So it did for me. what I'm getting at is the whole vampire thing, I think, sets up a lot of stuff to. I know Blade's been in the Avengers run a little bit, but I think they could bring him over to Moon Knight and use him more effectively.
I think this run literally said this is what happened in Avengers, and we know you didn't like it, so we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, but I mean, if they were to bring Blade back over here like a year before his movie came out,
right?
I think it would do perfectly getting people re-excited for Blade.
I guess no matter what you do, especially like when you have a cover that's like kind of badass, you get excited to read it. But I guess that was also like kind of a big distortion for me. I also paid a lot for the David Mack covers, which I never do, but I love Moon Knight. I like this issue, guys. I'm not kind of shitting. I'm not shitting on it. I think I'm going to love this run more than I liked the first issue, but that's how it usually is. Not every first issue is going to captivate you, and it didn't like captivate me because I think it's because like I've read Moon Knight before. For a lot of people, this is a great Moon Knight origin or great Moon Knight introduction, which I think that was Jed MacKay's goal.
Yeah,
definitely. He knows that this is a lot of people's first read of Moon Knight, especially because Moon Knight hasn't had a very good series in Chef Lemire. I'm sorry, Max Bemis, but your Moon Knight was kind of garbage. You should stick to writing music, and which he's not that great at either. But
I mean, hey, very, very seldomly are these legendary runs iconic from the jump.
Right.
Like a book we're going to talk about here in a bit, I think is an exception.
Oh, we talking Nightwing?
Well, a book we're going to talk in a little bit. I got one book I want to talk about before Nightwing, but Nightwing.
Okay,
that book is an exception where it was iconic from the jump. But you look at something like Saga. Saga didn't get it was good. It was great. But you get about 15 to 20 issues in, and it gets incredible.
Right.
Same thing with like Aquaman by Jeff Johns. Once Throne of Atlantis hits, you know you're reading something for the ages. Whereas beforehand, you're like, yeah, this is really good. I'm enjoying this run. You get the Throne of Atlantis or a story like that, and your jaw drops. That's what I feel like could happen with this run.
Right.
And maybe it won't take 15 to 20 issues. Maybe it'll take 5 or 7. But still, that's how it happens a lot of times.
Right. Yeah, but you want to talk about another book before?
I do. Probably my pick of the week so far. I haven't read everything, but this is my pick of the week so far. Guardians of the Galaxy, number 16. I've been loving pretty much everything that I've read Al Ewing do, Cosmic, which has basically just been Sword, but still my statement stands.
He hasn't written that much.
I mean, I haven't read Empire. This made me want to go back and read Empire.
You get to learn all about.
Dormammu is heavily featured, as you can tell by the cover, and I'm a huge Doctor Strange fan, so I'm always down for Dormammu.
Right.
Although I doubt Doyle would be too proud of this.
Yeah, no, Doyle's probably looking up at his dad. He's like, God damn it, you just made school life so much harder.
It's like, what are you doing, Dad?
Or he's like, hey, Dad, take your child to work week was last week. You missed it. That was last issue.
It's like, are you going to fight my principal again?
You're right.
Oh, man. But no, basically, like, it picks up after. Actually, I don't know what after because this is my first issue reading Guardians, actually. But we open up with, like, Wiccan and Hulkling doing some cleanup from, I'm guessing, some things that happened with the Kree and the Skrull in the last few issues.
Yeah, everything's kind of like been in a little hissy fit with Guardians, with Wiccan and Hulkling kind of joining the squad or collaborating with the squad.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll go back and read that for context, but still.
Actually, the last issue was a crossover with Doctor Doom and Doom coming in with like their council meeting. So I guess.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the story's called The Last Annihilation, but instead of Annihilus, Dormammu is sort of playing that Annihilus.
Yo, what's up, Real Rude X? Bro, you missed Philip Kennedy Johnson on the show.
Man?
Make sure you catch the rewind about 15 minutes ago. You want to see Philip Kennedy talk the next arc of Alien, what he's been doing in Action Comics, and the Carnage, Extreme Carnage stuff he's been writing. So
along with a little bit of what's more to come.
There you go. It was great.
Oh, fantastic.
Talked about Alien with the guy writing Alien for a good 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, Dormammu's basically rampaging. There's a lot of action in this book, but I thought it was handled beautifully. Love seeing characters, especially where I'm not too familiar with Guardians, but I am a little bit. I love seeing characters like Peter Quill, Nova, Moondragon. I thought was a really interesting inclusion.
Oh, she's awesome in this whole run, dude.
Oh, yeah. Quasar. God bless, I love seeing Quasar.
he was recently brought into it.
God bless. I got to go back and read all this. But, yeah. Basically, they just gather to fight off Dormammu and his kind of mindless horde. Get some great comedic moments in here with like Drax and Rocket.
And you had Nova trying to get with Gamora a little bit after seeing
Nova was definitely, and Gamora was feeling it.
Yeah, she was all into it. She's like, Peter Quill's like pissed me off too many times. Come here.
Well, Peter Quill, I guess was thinking about trying to get back with Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, because there's like kind of that footnote in Kate. He's like, oh, she's Kate, and we had a date, but she can't, so I didn't question it. That was kind of
fun. There's a character reveal at the end that they're bringing in that I'm gonna have to do some more research on because I have no idea who he is, but still excited.
It's a classic Kree character from the Silver Age, from like the Silver and Bronze Age.
I'm slacking on my cosmic, guys. You are seeing my cosmic knowledge grow on this show.
It's great. I love it.
But yeah, Juan Frigeri doing the art, I thought it was incredible, along with Federico Beli's colors. That was the standout to me. Of course, I love Al Ewing, but I really don't think this issue showed off his writing talents like other stuff I've seen Al Ewing write.
You mean like the previous issue, which is bonkers?
That I'm going to go back and read. Yeah. Or something like Sword or Immortal Hulk or something like that. I'm not going to say his writing was weak, but it didn't get a chance to shine, whereas the art stole the show.
Right.
So, yeah, this is shaping up to be a really fun sort of mini Annihilation event. I don't know why, if they're going to call it the last Annihilation, that they wouldn't make a bigger deal out of it, but still, I'm here for it.
Well, that's because Marvel doesn't want to promote it yet, but this is what's going to lead their next event, but Marvel's like kind of subtly putting it under the radar.
So, okay, so do you think there will be a like huge Last Annihilation event coming up then that they're not promoting or not telling us about?
I wouldn't say an event, but I think this is going to be more of like a story arc. I don't think it's going to have tie-ins. You might find a few one-shots here and there, I think, but I haven't seen anything on the solicitations.
I know it's
really
with Sword. So, like it says to be continued in Sword number 7.
Yeah, so when it's going to be collected and trade, I have a feeling Sword. That's weird, thinking of how Sword will be collected because it had so many King and Black tie-ins. I think it's just going to be like Sword Volume 1 and then like Sword and Guardians kind of crossed over, almost like a Teen Titans and Suicide Squad type, how they're going to do that.
Yeah. Except better.
Yeah, except better. But
yeah, really
how the
interesting to see how it goes.
or how like Christopher Priest would always cross over Deathstroke with the Teen Titans and Rebirth.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
This seems like, too, that they're promoting it kind of like they did Annihilation Scourge.
They promoted the crap out of Annihilation Scourge for a little bit.
Really? I don't remember them. Like, I saw it today. I saw it on a shelf at a Books A Million today. Didn't buy it, but I forgot that it happened.
A lot of people did. Who did it? Matt Rosenberg?
I think.
Right? Yeah. No one remembers. I barely do.
Still, I'm gonna read it when I go through my Annihilation binge.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing that once the omnibus drops.
I can't.
It's reprinted.
I'm trying. I found the first complete collection at my LCS. I'm gonna try to track down the second one because honestly, that might be my favorite kind of collection.
You're going to Comic-Con next week.
I am going to a con next week, so I'll try to. Maybe you'll find it there.
There you go.
Or I might see about stopping at a shop and be like, "Hey, can I check something real quick?"
You're still doing the show on Friday, right?
Most likely. Okay. I am going to be at the show on Friday. I'm going to be at in the convention hall on Friday, so we'll see what time I get out of there. But as of right now, yeah, I'm looking to. We'll see how long the lines are. We'll just say that. We'll see how long the lines are.
Yeah, well, this is how we do the show, guys. And in the last book, let's talk about Nightwing number 82 by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo. This book has excelled. We're getting more of Melinda Zuko's kind of backstory, and it's told through the tale of her mother talking in first person, which, by the way, Bruno Redondo.
We can't forget Rick Leonardi and Neil Edwards doing the flashback penciling.
Oh, yeah, Rick Leonardi's art on the flashbacks were fantastic. I don't know why he's not credited on the cover.
I don't
which
either.
is weird, which was very weird. Also, for everyone who's coming into the chat now, make sure you guys do go back and catch the replay because we did have a surprise guest. I'm going to spoil it for you because we're already so far deep into the show. Philip Kennedy Johnson came on and talked about the issue of Alien that hit the shelves, as long as in the other work he's been putting out, Action Comics coming out next week, the next arc of Alien that's going to hit the shelves in the fall, and The Last God and Extreme Carnage, and what else is he doing? He's doing other stuff, and we talked about Superman. But yeah, we talked
about some stuff he wanted to do. So if you ever see something like that come up in the future,
you heard it first here.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah, cool, great. You guys know what to do. But so we learned. So Melinda Zuko introduces Dick Grayson to her family, and her mother kind of tells the story of how she was originally brought in by Dick Grayson's father into the circus after being kind of a victim of domestic abuse and domestic violence. So, which I thought that was so well written because it makes sense, I guess. And they ended up falling in love before Dick's father met, obviously, his mother. But so they made a child, which had to be Melinda. When her abuser came back, she took her and her child, which is why they were lost. When she came back, the Graysons were when she came back, she saw the Graysons with Dick, so she didn't want to kind of interject. And so when she saw them again, the Graysons were dead.
Which, can I just say one thing about the second page of this book?
Yes.
This is this page really spoke to me about how much Dick's character is loved in the DC universe. Because no joke, Barbara just puts out the word that he might be in danger.
Oh, and they all come crashing.
Everybody, Batman shows up, Donna Troy, pretty much the entirety of the Teen Titans.
Right. Beast Boy.
I didn't think Raven was capable of loving people. What?
I said Beast Boy was in there. You saw Beast Boy? You saw Beast Boy?
Oh, yeah, I saw Beast Boy. Oh, okay, I thought you said something about spoilers. I'm like, it's the second page of the book.
Yeah, how did Bitewing lose his leg? How, Bobby?
I don't think it's been revealed, has it?
I hope you don't. It's like a joke. I think he's trying to set us up for a joke, but we'll figure out his answer.
Oh my lord! Continue. I just wanted to throw that out there because it just
it was a great panel for sure. So obviously when we flash back to the present, the mother doesn't really know that her daughter is in league with Blockbuster, who is a major kind of crime lord. She just thinks, oh, she's mayor, right? Haha. She knows not she's a face of, but I don't know. Melinda Zuko's character is really making me root for her.
Yeah.
I think the
Alligator Loki. This is the Marvel DC crossover we've been waiting for.
I love that puppy. I love the puppy.
Hey, Bobby, I bet you Alligator Loki got Chubbs' hand, too. Anybody who's seen Happy Gilmore knows what I'm talking about.
There you go. Well, yeah, that's Nightwing. It continues to be the best book on the shelves coming out of DC Comics, I would say.
100%.
If you're a huge Nightwing fan like I am, it is so refreshing to finally have a great character like Dick Grayson finally getting the love that he deserves and not suffer at the mercy of Dan DiDio. Which was great. Which is great. So I like a huge gas bubble like in my throat. And I was like trying to
there's not really a whole lot to talk about with that issue, but at the same time, it just continues to just be incredible. Like, when you get an issue of Nightwing now, it's going to be phenomenal.
Right. It's like one of those books we read and we love. It's literally right there with Daredevil. You read it, you love it, and you move on. You wait another month for it.
Reluctantly, but yes.
Reluctantly, yes. Or like you always look at the solicitation, like, oh, Nightwing comes out, it's gonna be a good week.
Same thing with a lot of DC's titles right now. I know Swamp Thing is still kind of flying under the radar a little bit.
Swamp Thing was fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Swamp Thing was fantastic. Meeting up with Constantine, but yeah, that's really it for weekly wrap up this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're still gonna have the show next week, whether Bryce will be here or not. I'm
most likely gonna be there, and I'm gonna try my best to make it. I want to make it for you guys.
There we go. So you guys are gonna see us next week. We kind of a bonkers week. I already looked ahead at my pull list, and it's huge.
See, mine's actually kind of light. I've trimmed some books, and I decided like Superman, Son of Kal-El is gonna kind of be a game day decision.
22 books for me.
22? Dude, I have like 8.
I have 22 books plus whatever I pick up in trade. So great. Good work, Brandon. Yay. But you guys know how we do it on the show. Whatever we read, we talk about, and we give you guys very honest opinions. Stay tuned for more surprises like Philip Kennedy Johnson kind of coming in last minute. I kind of hit him up a few days before. I said, hey, we'd love to get you on the show if you wanted to come talk about the stuff you've been doing.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, expect that. We have Wonder Woman next week, I think.
We do have Wonder Woman
next week, which is going to
be love that that's coming out bi-monthly.
Yes. So who knows? Maybe. Hint, hint. Someone might be on the show next week.
We'll have to see.
I'll hit him up. I'll DM him. But yeah, Kari Andrews next Tuesday. And yes, Bryce, be safe at the con. Don't catch no COVIDs.
I will try. It's in Raleigh, North Carolina, which North Carolina has been pretty good about the whole COVID situation.
Because there's no one in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Well, I mean that helps.
Yeah, there are also no Duke games, so no one's traveling.
Yeah, it's not basketball season, so nobody's leaving their house.
Yeah. And Panthers aren't playing, so.
Well, nobody leaves their house for that anyway.
Yeah, they're not that good of a team. Anyway, guys, this is the show where we can't wrap up a weekly wrap up. Can't wrap it up, but anyway.
Hey, listen, we're oh shoot, nope, not gonna say that.
What?
I was gonna say we're like Scott Snyder when we try to end a show.
Oh Jesus! Yep. On that note,
Scott Snyder, if you ever somehow see this, love your work, man. Love your work.
Station link. Make sure you guys go back and catch the replay for Philip Kennedy Johnson to be on the show. That was awesome. Take care, you guys.
We'll catch you guys next week. Love y'all. Have a good one.